Aloha. Welcome to Just Talking 24, page 78. Before we start, I got to make additions to last week. Number one, I was looking for chain of custody. That's what it's called with evidence, chain of custody. Who has custody of the evidence and the documentation you do on your way to it. And our mail-in voting has no chain of custody. No, we're supposed to trust. Yeah, use trust. And also, the second one was the little people weren't called Lilliputians, they were called Munchkins. I don't know how. I had a major brain fart. You saw a major brain fart. Yep. And, it came to me after I record. I watched the video to make sure the quality's there, the sound is there, and also that I made some kind of sense on it. And so I saw those two things, and I said, "What was?" I don't know why I just couldn't think of chain of custody. I was so used to hearing it and saying it. We have it in healthcare. There's a certain chain of custody you do with samples for the lab, or you got to sign. But I don't know why. So anyway, those are the two things. Okay, here we go. First, I just want to say happy birthday, America. This week, Saturday, is going to be July 3rd. And we hit 250. 250. Girl, get in there. And what's so great about 250 is experts. We go to experts. No, but this one is documented, and it shows there is correlation that a government or a ruling party lasts only 250 to 300 years. I've told you this many times, and the thing I'm going to be talking about this week, it's ironic, but I keep talking about that our society is falling apart. Well, the thing I'm going to talk about this week, and you guys know that I don't like talking politics because you cannot change people's mind, but this is something different. This one, you got to change your mind because it strikes all the way to the very foundation and heart and soul of America. America we fought a war to get our independence from England, right? So we set up our own nation. Our forefathers, right, wrote a piece of paper. Well, first they wrote the Declaration of Independence. Okay. Second, they wrote a constitution. Constitution is the basic rules of a nation, of anything. The constitution is your basic rule, your foundation. And now they're fighting something that the Constitution already talks about. What am I talking about? The Save America Act, it's called. Basically, it's the 14th Amendment in our Constitution. If you read the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, it says, every citizen has a right to vote. The citizen is a natural or naturalized individual. Only one vote, one person. Okay? It's in the Constitution. Why we have to have the Save America Act? Why is it that you have to prove who you are to vote? Because we're so honest. I mean, look at all the corruption throughout this nation. Look at Michigan, look at Illinois, look at Virginia, look at California, look at Hawaii. Yeah, we just had, in fact, it was yesterday, on the 25th of June, I heard a news cast, and normally our news stations, they never touched it. They never touched it. I had to hit. I listened to talk radio, and talk radio uses Fox News, and the local radio station, because they're supposed to be so, independent, whatever. They ran this story, and the story said that Hawaii ranked as one of the highest in the nation for missed payments on the SNAP program. And the majority of those missed payments, okay, the majority were overpayments. In other words, they not report it. I mean, who's going to report that, oh, you paying me too much? Really, right? Who's going to report it? So how you going to find it? You got to audit it, right? But the underpayments, they said the vast majority. In other words, out of 10,000 recipients, one person said, oh, you paid me too little bit. Or maybe, maybe they grumbling because they never get enough. But who's going to complain saying that, oh, you paid me too much? But it goes unreported. And we were one of the leading. They use terminology like that. Tell us, out of 50 states, where we rank? Number 1? Number 5? What's leading? Top 10? Top 20? They're so ambiguous on these terms. But, okay. But there's no dishonesty in Hawaii. Yeah. Mail-in voting, yeah, trust me. Utah, I heard, is even weird. I heard in Utah, I don't know how real this is, but they said you can grab your ballots from newsstands. And then you just fill it out and sign it and send it in. And I bet you they really check those for validity of, yeah. But yeah, that Save America Act and these, why is there even, it's common sense. Why would you even have to debate about it or even have discussions about it? What possible reason, really probable cause, warranted reason would you have to justify not having to prove who you are for your constitutional right? That's all the government is saying. Hey, just prove it. And they want to do it on a national level. And the states are saying, no, the 10th Amendment gives us the right to run the elections the way we want. That's true, but the federal government has the absolute supremacy on elections because it's guaranteed by our Constitution. Yeah, it's true. They can run the elections the way they want, but who votes? That can be determined by the federal government, regulations by the federal government, because it's mentioned in the Constitution. If it's mentioned in the Constitution, the states have no say in it because of supremacy. Like we just had the U.S. Supreme Court voted down our vampire law. It's called vampire law because they wanted to give the businesses the right to decide whether or not, or you have to tell if you have a gun, if you have concealed, that, oh yeah, I'm concealing a gun. No, they said you can't ask them that. All you can put up a sign. If you got a gun, don't come in. That's all. But they cannot. You have to ask permission to come in with a gun. That's right. That's what they're asking for. Excuse me, I'm back in 105 Howitzer. Can I come into come in and eat? Silly, really silly crap. But then what can I say, right? 250 years, gang. Yeah, it's a big thing, and Donald Trump knows it's a big thing, and we're supposed to be having the largest fireworks show ever in the history of the world on July 4th. I gotta see that, because we're 6 hours behind. So if it's like set for 8 o'clock at night, we see it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which kind of, the ambiance is in there because the sun's still up, but that's all right. I just want to see it. Um, but yeah, why is there the only reason I can see why you don't want people to, identify who they are, reason is for cheating. Is That's it, just for cheat. Yeah, for fraud. Because if they gotta prove who they are, and over here we used to, you go down to the polling place, you show your ID, they have a list, you're on the list, you sign your name next to the list, they give you a ballot. Really simple. After you finish, take the ballot, slap it in the machine, and that's it. You know, that that was a little bit more, I would say, secure, but there's still no chain of custody. You know what I mean? But they got to give the illusion that it is, up and up. No, really, our senator, Mazie Hirono, she threw her hand into the ring to run for Senate. She was with she was local, our state. She went for national. She threw her hat into the ring 1 week before the deadline. When she did that, I told my wife, "That's the next senator." She went, "What?" I said, "That's our next senator over there." She went, "But she's doing it so late." I said, "Yeah, because that's the system. That's the way the machine works in Hawaii." And sure enough, she's still our. And look at what an idiot she is. Oh, I see her. I see her in the Senate committees where she's questioning people. Oh my God, she sounds so stupid. It's embarrassing. But then Barack Obama was supposed to have come from Hawaii too, except he couldn't become a senator from Hawaii because it just didn't make it. He went to Illinois and he became a senator there. He was never raised and grown in Illinois, but just like Hillary Clinton, she's from New York, but she's from Arkansas. But she buys a house in New York. Boom, she's the senator from New York. Politics. That's why I don't like talking politics. But this act has to be passed. I'm a firm, but like I said, I'm kind of expected. You remember I told you like the 250 to 300 years? Look at that. They're already gnawing at the foundation of our country. Yeah. And Donald Trump is trying the hardest to patch it. And he only got one more term, right? He only got, what, year and a half? 2.5 years? Excuse me. 2.5 years? Who's going to take over? Vance, he just doesn't. No, he don't got he don't got the cojones, the balls to do it. Really, he doesn't. He's showing that he's very, he talk on good talk, but he don't walk. Rubio has a chance. Mark Rubio, he's got the feister. Yeah, he would be my pick for to take over Trump. Well, look who the Democrats got. But look at New York. New York, I don't understand that state. Them in California. Minnesota, they just corrupt all the way through. Yeah, strictly for the money. How many billions, yeah? Wow. But that's what Save America Act's all about. It's to save America. It's real. Tax is exactly what it's supposed to do. Yeah, we should. If I gotta show ID to buy booze or tobacco or to go fly a plane or to anything, check in, check out, whatever. I remember when we used to show ID with our credit card to make sure that that was the credit card. The stores would make us do that. They don't do it anymore because I don't know. This internet's supposed to be so so fail safe, so secure, yet, right? Remember what I told you last week? The mail-in is more secure than the internet, according to AI. And somebody must have programmed all AI, the AI for that. There's more BS that they're trying to give us. Take the shot. Take the shot. Yeah. I just took my second shingle shot. Oh, my arm is sore. They said, oh yeah, it may cause some discomfort every time I move that sucker thing. And I was working it. I'm building my toolbox outside, and I'm working it. But yeah, but we need the Save America Act. We didn't need Obamacare, but we do need Save America. And it's funny how people they took Obamacare more readily than they took, well, who backed Obamacare, right? The Democrats. So that was I got a feeling that the Democratic Party is going to end up to be like the devil. I really, in history, will the purpose of the Democratic Party will be as an example of what not to be. You know, look how they became from the People's Party, and they turned into the devil. But yeah, you just cannot. And the bottom line is, even our forefathers knew it. You read the Constitution, yeah, they really didn't. I wouldn't say didn't trust, but they knew human nature, and they knew how corruptible human nature was, and they tried. They really tried to put safeguards in there so that it wouldn't happen. But they never. I don't think they ever in their deepest, most recessed thought would have stuff like transgenders. We'd have people that they want the word God taken out of everything, you know, that kind of stuff. It's really they did not. I don't. They never envisioned it, so they didn't write. If you don't envision it, you can't write about it. You can't put it into as a rule if if that type of thinking doesn't even exist. Well, that type of thinking does exist now, and now that's why I said we should revise the Constitution. But then, like it can't be revised in America. Yeah, because the fighting. They can't even get our budget straight. How do you think they're gonna do with the Constitution? 100 years from now, they still be fighting on how to rewrite it. And I'm not saying change it. I'm just saying revise it so that you lock out a lot of the loopholes. Put in more concrete language. Yes, more concrete language from different views so that you can block out a lot of this stuff. And it becomes the law of the land. Because if not, the next regime or the next government that comes in is going to remember I told you about the balance of things. So right now it's tipped, corruptive. Well, you're gonna have another corruptive one, but they're gonna be coming in and doing this, and you're gonna have hell to pay. It's gonna be hell. I'm just talking. I'm just saying this not to be, not to be an agitator, but to be a truth sayer. I want to lock this in on record because if it comes true, hey, at least I won't be here. Hopefully, I won't be here because I don't want to see it. That would just break my heart to see the nation go under another rule. Although I know it's coming. I mean, look at England. Their arrogance, and the Muslims have just run over them. And the Muslims, and they're allowing it. That's the part. These people are allowing it. English people used to be such, I mean, they were fighters, supposedly. But I guess maybe, well, even France. I thought France, look what Hitler did, right? They walked right over him. So, okay, we know about France. But, I mean, why are they so mousy? I thought they were really, Ireland is another thing. The Scots and the Irish. Oh my God, those are the beefers. You ain't. They're not gonna. They're not letting anything go. They're fighting back. Mean. They're fighting back. Or Poland. You know, Poland. They get zero tolerance on everything, and look how good their nation is doing. Of course, they don't have the population of the Americas. See, that's the thing too with America. You got to remember, we're number three in the world, and number one and two are so far ahead of us. Like China has what, 1 point, is it one? Yeah, 1.84 billion, and America has 640 million. So China has six or seven. What is that? 18, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but that's the difference between two and three, because India is above China, right? I don't know, man. Those two, they constantly fight each other, and they don't have good records. So who really knows? But they're one and two, and then we're a distant three, right? That's a lot of people, they compare. Oh, look how good it is in Norway. Well, Norway only has a population of 5 million. 5 million versus 340 million. In Hawaii, Hawaii, in the U.S. How can you compare? You know, that's like a pedal bicycle versus one double A fuel car. Let's race the quarter mile. Yeah, downhill, no comparison. So you gotta keep everything relative. You gotta know what it is, in what class it is, and keep it there. Keep the male and females. I'm glad that they fought back against the transgender thing. The IOC, yeah, the International Olympic Committee. They're saying they're going to finally do the drug test. I mean the blood test to see if you really are a female. Yeah, only took what? How many years? How many Olympics? Still want to know about Brittany Griner. Notice she just faded from view. She don't even play anymore. He don't even play anymore. You know. And then you get that what was it, MMA fighters saying that Michelle Obama is a male. You know. Hey, not that's the thing. Nothing would surprise me. Nothing. And then I want to see the test. After I see the test, show me the proof. I'll tell you what would I do? It would just reconfirm a lot of the things. That's what the proof would do for me. Reconfirm a lot of my ideas, because a lot of my ideas are so out there. I think. Well, in comparison to the main flow, down the river. I'm not down the river. I'm on the side. I'm on the banks. Yeah, I can't go by the river. It's just not me. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, the emperor is naked, and he got ugly okole. Okole is the buttocks. Yeah. Brother, I get a scrawny little skinny ass. But yeah, we're making 250 this year on red, white, and blue, right? Yep. I am proud. I'm still proud to be an American. But I'm more proud to be a human being. And I know we got problems. The whole world has problems now. It's not just the U.S. I mean, the U.S. rising and falling. That's just one of the many, many, many problems of the world. I was looking at this David Attenborough in National Geographic, and they had this this documentary on ants. Ants, ants. These ants don't even have brains, right? But what they had was was it Norway or Sweden? They have a mountain. It's, the Ant Mountain, they call it. And I think I told you this before. The ones on the top, they have a super colony. And the ones on the bottom, they have separate colonies that fight each other. And the ones on the top are they're separate colonies that live as one giant colony of ants with thousands of queens. The queens are just called queens, but they're not really, they have no royal power. They have no power. In fact, they take orders from the drones. The drones, the workers pull them along, they feed them. Because all the queen got to do is spit out them eggs, baby. Spit out them eggs. The queen is very important because she's the future of the hive, of the, what is it, colony? Yeah, ant colony. But there are thousands of queens. So if one dies, oh well, they'll just raise another, make another. And yet they have no brain. Scientists say, yeah, an ant doesn't have any brain. Well, it's got to think some way. Yeah. What I mean by think is it's programmed somehow. It's not a machine. Yeah, it's an animal. It is a living organism. Look at bacteria and viruses. How they change, how they mutate, they call them. They use the word mutate, which means it's a very, like deform. No, they don't. Yep, they change. They evolve into something that is one thing, antibiotic. The antibiotics don't work anymore. When I was working at healthcare, we had MRSA. And the MRSA infection was so bad and so strong, the most powerful antibiotics we had would not touch it. So all they can do is just watch and hope that your body's natural, defenses can fight it enough so that you get well. If not, you die from sepsis. How's that? Yeah. Viruses even worse. Viruses, they got to identify it, and then they got to try and fight it. And by that time, the virus has changed into something else. So man is constantly playing, the catch-up game. So if you're lucky, your natural immunity can combat it. You don't give them drugs to try fight a virus that you're already 3 steps behind. Man, when's man gonna learn? If he doesn't, he goes extinct. That too. And then next batch. Tell the aliens, hey. Okay. Heinz 58. But anyway, happy birthday, folks. Happy birthday, America. Love you guys all. Like, subscribe, and get on the phone. Contact your congressman. Tell them, I don't give a rat's patootie. I don't give a rat's ass what you feel. This is what I feel. Pass the damn bill. Once and for all, let's set it in stone. Because in 10 years they're going to repeal it anyway, you know what I mean? Shit, another executive order comes in. Okay, Save America Act no longer valid. Throw it out. That's one thing they gotta do. Executive orders, they gotta really 2 things. For all 3 branches of government, you gotta take a competency test. Because you're responsible for governing and I'm talking about Supreme Court, I'm talking about the president, I'm talking about Congress. You take a competency test. If you are a convicted felon, you can't run for anything. Yeah. You're going to be held to the highest standards. I don't know. I want to be alive to see it. Although it ain't going to happen. Because who's going to make those rules? The corrupted ones, right? Let the fox, watch the hen house. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. And like, subscribe, tell your friends. Give me some comments on this one. Let me know what you guys thinking out there. Please. Have a great week. hope Fourth is great and be safe out there. Drink responsibly and ahui ho ma lama pono. And always from my heart to yours with all my love and aloha. Aloha. Repetitive, yeah? Bye bye.